This lesson provides an introduction to event logs. Event logs are really one of the most important assets you're ever going to use to find out what's going on in your environment, to troubleshoot, and really just get an idea of how processes are performing and configured. They've got very, very rich in recent versions of Windows. For example, in the past, we just had some core Windows logs, application, security, system, for example. Now, we have applications and services log. Each different application can actually write to their own area within the event log for very, very granular diagnosis of information, making it easy to see, well, what event logs are there related to the DHCP client? And I can just go and see them there. So great flexibility. I can also create custom views. So a custom view enables me to say, well, only show me these types of logs. And these are actually used by default as part of Server Manager. For example, in Server Manager, you can select a certain role, such as directory services, and it only shows you events that are related to that particular service. You can create tasks and create your own event data filters here. So say, well, show me informational as well. Show me more than just the last 24 hours to actually get additional information. Event Viewer itself has views related to the server roles, Hyper-V, RDS, and you can actually look at these and see what filter they're using to actually see the logs that they're capturing. So you can see it's going into all those different applications and services logs areas to get all of that information. There can be a number of different types of event log. For example, if I look at my system, I can see informational, I can see errors, I can see critical, I can see warnings, and I can filter what I see. I can say, show me just critical, show me just warnings, just errors, informational, where from. I can filter to certain keywords I want to find for certain users, computers. It's a lot of control. And each of these event logs, if I open one up, actually has the sort of the general view of the event log, the event ID. I can also see the details and actually view it as XML. So this is like every single piece of detail related to this event log. These can also be queried with PowerShell. So if I actually just minimize this, I can use the get event log and I can say which event log. I'll say security. Notice it's actually showing me which ones I could use here. I'll just say, show me the newest 10. So this isn't just something I have to use Event Viewer for. I can actually query all of this with PowerShell. And by using PowerShell, I can get very, very granular and use this in many, many different ways. For each of the different event logs, I can configure exactly how this information is saved. So I can set a size for the log file. And then what do I do if this fills up? So overwrite events as needed treats this as a circular log. As it has a new log to write and it's reached that 20 megabyte size, it will just delete the oldest one. You can say archive the log when full, don't overwrite anything. So I don't want to risk losing anything, or never overwrite events, i.e. you have to manually clear them. Now the danger is if you don't have a good process to track the event logs and you just say don't overwrite them, well, the system will just freeze. If it can't work, if it can't write new logs, then it can't perform any actions because that would be a security risk if it wasn't logging what it was performing. So be very, very careful of using the do not overwrite events. Unless you have a great process in place to alert you when it's reaching a certain threshold and you have a good process to clear it manually, you can actually cause your system some pretty bad performance and freezing problems. In addition to looking at event logs for my system, I can actually subscribe to event logs from other systems. So I have to start this Windows Event Collector service. And the machine I want to collect from has to have Windows Remote Management enabled. Now this is enabled by default anyway in Windows Server 2012. So I can just say, I want to create a subscription. I say the name, so maybe it's from one of my domain controllers. I select the computer I want to fetch it from. So I'm going to say my domain controller. And then what do I actually want to collect? So maybe I want to only collect error messages from the system log. I could say which event IDs, certain categories. So maybe if you were trying to audit security, you might want to log all security event logs that are maybe access failures. So you can actually try and track If someone keeps failing their logons, maybe an intrusion, click OK. And that's now collecting those events. They're forwarding to this system. So take some time to understand all the different types of event log there are. The good news is most of them are surfaced to you automatically now through Server Manager. If there's a DHCP problem, it's going to show you when you select DHCP in Server Manager. So it's really a lot more friendly, but understand behind the scenes, there are a huge number of different logs available to me. Understand I can subscribe to other machines if required, and I can use PowerShell to search through all of this and even create my own custom views of log information. This concludes the lesson on an introduction to event logs.